Normally, if it's Thursday night, it's college football Thursday. But for this week only, if it's Thursday night, say yeah. For this is our Strictly Sports NFL show. Hello, friends, and welcome to this special Thursday night edition of NFL Friday. I am Anthony Floyer here with you for another exciting edition of our NFL show. Glad to have you with us. Joined, as always, by my elite panel, Girl MF, Michael Fletcher. We got Michael Bullock here as well. And you know how we do it. We're going to run down, we're going to preview each game of week two, give our predictions on it. We'll have our first NFL power rankings of the year. And we'll keep you up to date right now on the Houston Texans and the Cincinnati Bengals, the season premiere of Thursday Night Football, if you will. And they're at Paul Brown Stadium right now, ugly uniforms and all. And it's late in the third quarter, and the Houston Texans are up 10-9, and the Bengals are 3rd and 4 in their own territories. So MF and Bullock will keep an eye on it for you because I've got all my windows up here, and I got to keep an eye on setting things up, for the schematics and the whole 9 yards. So I know you boys will be on it like you always are. You guys have always been good with that. So if any time there's an update that's necessary, one of these guys will report it. They'll report it to me, and they'll let me know, and we'll relay that to you. So late third quarter, 10-9, Houston leading Cincinnati right now. So we'll, like I said, we'll keep an eye on it for you. So, alrighty. So with all that being said, let's dive on in, guys. Week two, of course, we got the Houston Texans and the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, before we start, MF Bullock, this is an open forum here. Who did you guys pick? I'm very curious. I believe I had Cincinnati winning this game. MF, who'd
I
you have?
actually, I actually had Cincinnati as well. I had Cincinnati winning this game.
All
I
right,
picked
well,
Cincinnati as well.
all right. So we're all unanimous here. Okay. So, I'm not surprised by that. I mean, Cincinnati was the favorite going in. I believe they were a 5.5 to 6 point favorite going in. So, but like I said, we'll keep an eye on it for you. So, and as soon as like any breaking updates that are necessary come in, we'll relay that to you right here. So, okay. But in the meantime, let's get down to the rest of the business at hand. Um, week two, um, the rest of the slate, which will which is what's going down here. And our first matchup that we're going to talk about features another 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 divisional rival of the Cincinnati Bengals. A matter of fact, they just played them and they got smoked by them this past week. Um, that being the Baltimore Ravens, and the Baltimore Ravens will be at home on Sunday when they host the Cleveland Browns. And yeah, Cleveland Browns are who we're going to be squaring off with here. So there was one other thing I was trying to look for. I can't find it, but I'll try to find it. But nonetheless, I have all the other necessary information here. Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens. The game will be, of course, at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. Home opener for the Ravens. And the series history. Well, before I get into that, the series. Before I get into the series history, of course, it'll be a 1 o'clock game, and this will be on CBS. And on the call for that game, it'll be Andrew Catalon with James Lofton and Steve Tasker. They will be on the call for that one. And the spread favors, I believe it favors the Ravens, I want to say. Yes, it does. Baltimore is an 8 to 10 point favorite in this game. So we'll keep an eye on that. So yes, it's an 8 to 10 point favorite for the Baltimore Ravens. And in the series history, one-sided. It's all Baltimore. They lead at 27-9. And the Ravens have won the last 3 meetings in this series, including a sweep last year. Last meeting in Baltimore last year, Baltimore won it 28-7. Cleveland last won in Baltimore the year before in 2015, a wild 33-30 overtime win. So that's the story there. So that being said, it's Baltimore. I mean, did you see what the Baltimore Ravens did to the Cincinnati Bengals last Sunday in Cincinnati. Like MF always likes to say, they kicked the door down and they made themselves at home against Cincinnati. They absolutely dominated them to the tune of a shutout, 5 turnovers, 5 sacks. And I want to tell you right now, the Baltimore Ravens are going to be in my top 3 when it comes to the power rankings. And I hope they're in your, and I hope MF and Bullock, for your sakes, I hope you've got them in your top 3 as well. Because that was a top 3 performance, if I'm going to be real honest with you. Hell, I could even say it was a number 1 performance, if I'm going to be real honest with you. So who's to say they can't do that against the Cleveland Browns? But hey, Cleveland, give them credit. I mean, they hung with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They gave the Steelers major fits. I mean, we thought Pittsburgh was going to kick the door down and make themselves at home. But no. Pittsburgh won, but Cleveland showed a lot of heart. They showed a lot of fight. DeShone Kizer, my old friend from Notre Dame, I mean, he put up a solid effort, but just not enough. Cleveland had something going there in the end, but Pittsburgh found a way to win. So, but right here, I got the Ravens. I got Flacco having a big game. Jeremy Maclin, he's going to have a huge game as well, especially after what he did against. He was a big factor in that Cincinnati game as well. But that Raven defense, if you thought they could manhandle a great offensive team like Cincinnati, just imagine what they can do to Cleveland. So I got the Ravens. This is one of my top locks of the week for sure. I say they win this one going away. I probably would say maybe 30-13. I'll give it 30-13 in favor of the Baltimore Ravens. So MF, come on in. Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens. Cleveland hung with Pittsburgh, but Baltimore though. Five turnovers and 5 sacks and a shutout against the Bengals. What? Wow.
Yeah, definitely one of the best performances. And the thing is that with Baltimore, what was the one thing I always said about the Ravens that they're so good at and that would make them a very dangerous team? Defense. I told you guys about the defense and the Baltimore Ravens that this defense looks like the defense of old. That this was going to be one of this strong defense that has been basically the bread and butter of them year in and year out. And I know their defense took a step back, and no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, I told you guys the Ravens defense, the catalyst for this team. The farthest they go, the better they were going to become because it was going to be their defense. And that was going to be their run, their motivation. Everything was going to get them to the top. And at the end of the day, that was going to be the prime thing that we were going to see. And what did they do? First game out the Bengals. How do you do that? You know what? So that's as good as you could have gotten. Then with Cleveland, I'll even say this. Cleveland surprised me because they could have easily laid down. They could have gotten crushed. They could have gotten blown out. And they were for most of the afternoon. Pittsburgh was putting it on them. But Cleveland came back. They showed some resiliency. They showed some fight. And they actually almost stole that game. And let me tell you, if they would have done that, a lot of people would have been really angry. Bookies would have been pissed. The people on the ESPN Eliminator would have been pissed because a lot of them would have been knocked out. At least, I think they said like 35% of the country went with the Steelers to win in that game. They all would have been knocked out of that Eliminator thing. So yeah, thank God Pittsburgh hung on and won the game, but they definitely showed some grit, some fight, and some teeth in them. But now you're going up against the Ravens defense that is red hot, light up, ready to get in your face. Top 3 performance in the power rankings, no doubt about it. They're not my number 1. I'll say that. But they're definitely in my top 3. So with that said, give me the Baltimore Ravens as well. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, like you said, the Baltimore Ravens defense. I mean, what they did against Cincinnati basically shut them out. I mean, this is why you can't underestimate this Baltimore Ravens team, especially with that defense. And I thought Joe Flacco played an okay game. I mean, not something overly special, but enough to really get enough points on the board for the Ravens and for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, yeah, you got to definitely give them credit. I mean, they basically hung in there with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, they could have just phoned it in, but they showed some fight, they showed some toughness, and this definitely would have been a really big upset in Week 1. But Pittsburgh hung on, and yeah, now Cleveland's going to be going up against the Ravens in that defense. I don't see how they're going to hang around with them. So give me the Baltimore Ravens to win this one. I'm going to say 20 to 13 is going to be my final score. So nothing else to say. Let's just move on.
All right, and MF has informed me that the Houston Texans and the Cincinnati Bengals, they're going into the fourth quarter. It's a 10-9. It's still 10-9 in favor of Houston. And as soon as we get any new information, we will bring that to you. So with that being said, let's just move on. Move on to our next matchup here. Just bear with me for a minute as I look for. Okay, we got a lot of windows up here in the whole 9 yards. So okay, week 2. All right, here we go. We got okay. Now, when you hear this game, normally you would not think the Anthony Florio Michael Fletcher game of the week. Well, guess what? This is the Anthony Florio Michael Fletcher game of the week right here. We're going to get into it right here and now. The Buffalo Bills squaring off against the Carolina Panthers at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. This game, of course, will be on CBS. It's a 1 o'clock game. Kevin Harlan and Rich Gannon will be calling it for CBS. But, of course, like I said, this is the Anthony Florio Michael Fletcher game of the week right here. Carolina, a 7 to 8.5 point favorite against Buffalo. And the series history favors the Buffalo Bills by a count of 5-1. Their last meeting was in 2013. Buffalo won that one 24-23 in Buffalo. Last meeting in Carolina was in 2009. And Buffalo actually won that game as well, 20-19. The one time Carolina actually won against Buffalo was in 2005. That Carolina team went into Buffalo and beat the Bills 13-9. So Carolina has never beaten Buffalo at home, not in 2 tries. So I believe I've got all the schematics out of the way. So, MF, it's only fitting you start this off. This is our game of the week. You even said so. It surprised the hell out of me, but hey, I'm willing to try something new. So Buffalo, both 1-0. Buffalo coming off an impressive win against the Jets. Carolina, an easy win over the Dud 49ers. So Buffalo and Carolina. MF, like I always say, the Phil Simms to my Jim Nance, as always, do that thing I like, my friend.
I mean, what is there to say? Buffalo, a 21-12 win over the New York Jets about a week ago. And when you put up over 414 yards of total offense, Tyrod Taylor, I mean, let's give it up for him, man. 16 of 28, 224, 2 touchdowns, had a pick in the game. All right. We're probably not going to hold that against them. And then, of course, when you have LaShawn McCoy, the double-edged sword, man, he had 22 carries, $110 on the ground. I mean, it was a good performance. That's what you expect Buffalo to do. They had a good performance in that game, and they held the Jets to 225 yards. They only allowed 38 yards rushing and 187 yards passing in that game. Very unbelievable performance, beautifully done to say the very least. And tonight on Sunday they had a great game, but now they're going up against Carolina, a much better defense, a stronger defense, and I think all in all, a better team. Cam Newton, this was his first legit game of the season. He didn't play at all during the preseason. He was nursing an injury during the offseason, so he was pedestrian for the most part. I mean, 14 of 25, 171 yards, had 2 touchdowns, had an INT. It wasn't the greatest performance, and I'll openly admit that, but Jonathan Stewart had a good game. Christian McCaffrey did not bad at all. I thought he was okay as well. And, like you said, 23-3 winners over the San Francisco 49ers, held the Niners to about 244 yards, 51 yards rushing, and 193 yards passing. They pretty much held them down. They held them in check throughout the night. But, I think this is going to be a very good game. This is going to be close, even though I know the ESPN matchup predictor or the ESPN Power Index has Carolina as a 75% favorite going into the game. And even though the odds maker has it at a 7.5 clip, so about a touch at a touchdown and give them a touchdown and a hook is what we like to call it. I'm going to say for the most part, I think Carolina will win it. I'll give you that. But I think it's going to be a lot more closer than the experts have it. I'm going to say something like 24-20 Carolina beats Buffalo. But I think Buffalo's going to give it a great try. They're going to really try to pull the upset where I think they could, but the only way they got to do it is they got to limit Cam Newton in this game as well, and they got to get to that running back. They got to rough them up early, and then with Buffalo, Tyrod Taylor, look, he's got to just repeat what he did 1 week ago, stay in that strong performance that he had, but more importantly, the one guy you really got to watch out for, LaShawn McCoy. If Shady McCoy gets going, they're going to be set, and they're going to be looking pretty darn good, to say the very least. So for me, I say Carolina wins, but by the final score of 24-20, though. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
All right, yeah. I mean, the Buffalo Bills. I mean, what can you say? I mean, they got a win over the lowly Jets, and basically are in first place in the AFC East. But yeah, they're going to be going up against the Carolina team that I thought looked good. And yeah, I think you're going to see Cam Newton come out and have a solid game, especially with them playing at home. You'll see some of Jonathan Stewart in there, and of course that defense led by Thomas Davis. So I got the Carolina Panthers winning this one as well. I'm going to say probably 30-14 is going to be my final score. So nothing else to say except, Florio, your thoughts on the game and your first place Bills.
First place Bills. How do you like that, huh? Isn't that great? But I'm not
going. Don't get too.
I'm not. I was just
only one game.
It is only one game, and Miami didn't play, so it's an asterisk first place. I'll put it like that. I'll put an asterisk on that. Because who knows how Tampa and Miami would have worked out. We won't find that out until week 11. But anywho, yes, for the moment, the Buffalo Bills are in first place because they beat the Jets, and the Patriots, of course, had that stunning loss to Kansas City. Kansas City also in my top 3 in the power rankings, just to let you folks know. But I got my liner note. I found my liner note on Cleveland and Baltimore. Just want to share that with you fast. Brown rookie quarterback Deshaun Kaiser will someday lead a dynamic offense with second-year whiteout Corey Coleman, but that day is not Sunday against a Raven defense that shut out the Cincinnati Bengals in week 1. But the Browns defense is formidable as well. But I'm going to change my final score on that one. I have Baltimore winning, but not 30-13. I'm going to go more 23-10. I'm going to give it that. Now, as far as this game goes, the Anthony Florio, Michael Fletcher game of the week here, the Carolina Panthers defense looked like its old self on Sunday when it held the San Francisco 49ers offense to just 3 points. Carolina has a little of everything. Good pass rushers, solid run stoppers, fantastic linebackers, and an underrated secondary featuring 2 high draft picks. second-year pros James Bradbury and Daryl Worley, who might become a great duo in the back. Buffalo is too one-dimensional on offense. In particular, it's based off the running game led by LaShawn McCoy to hang with Carolina, but the defense should slow the Panthers down a bit. But as much as I want to see my team do it again and go 2-0, that would be awesome. But let's be realistic. Against Cam Newton, Christian McCaffrey, and the Panthers, and that defense, especially with Kuechly back, no way. It's Carolina. I don't have it as close as MF does. I appreciate the close fact, MF, but is my final score in favor of Carolina. So 24-10, Carolina over Buffalo. One of those rare times I hope I'm wrong, but, it is what it is. So give me Carolina in that one. Okay. Let's get back to our next matchup here. Week 2. All right. Interesting matchup here. We have our first Fox game of the week. It's going to be the Arizona Cardinals squaring off against the Indianapolis Colts, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, home opener for the Indianapolis Colts. Fox will have the game, and it will be Chris Myers with Daryl Moose Johnson and Laura Oakman. They will be on the call for that one. And the spread favors the Arizona Cardinals to 8.5 is the spread in favor of Arizona. And the series history favors, hold on just a moment. It favors Indianapolis, but only by a count of 8-7. Last meeting was 2013 in Arizona. Arizona won that game 40-11. Snapping a 4-game losing streak at the hands of the Indianapolis Colts. Last meeting in Indianapolis, though, you got to go all the way back to 2005 when the Colts were actually at the old RCA Dome. Indy won that one 17-13. And the last time Arizona, the Cardinals won in Indianapolis, you got to go all the way back to 1984 when the then, I believe, St. Louis Cardinals defeated the Indianapolis Colts 34-33. Very high-scoring game back in '84. But it's an 8-7 advantage for Indianapolis. So I believe I've got all the schematics out of the way. Michael Bullock, I see, is ready to go. He knows he leads off. So Michael Bullock, Arizona, Indianapolis, Arizona. A disappointing loss to Detroit at Ford Field, but Indianapolis, wow, what happened to them against the Raiders in the Coliseum? My goodness.
Oh my God! I mean, we knew they were going to lose this game, but I didn't think that they would get blown out by the LA Rams. But yeah, for both of these teams, I mean, I think they're they're in must-win terms, and because here's the thing. Teams that begin a season 0-2 only have a 12% chance of making the playoffs. For the Colts, who got embarrassed in their season opener by the Rams, it doesn't help that franchise quarterback Andrew Luck does not appear ready to return anytime soon. Making it worse, Chuck Pagano told reporters he wasn't sure of his 2 healthy quarterbacks would start, either Scott Tolzien or Jacoby Brissett. For Bruce Arians, who's served as a successful interim coach for the Colts in 2012 while Pagano was battling leukemia. Of course, he makes his return, and his team is looking to bounce back after, of course, Detroit fell to the Lions 35-23, in which the Cardinals, of course, they allowed 26 straight points to fall behind 35-17. And the worst thing for them, of course, as we found out that David Johnson, their young running back, is going to be out at least 2 to 3 months with a dislocated left wrist. I mean, that's a big loss because Johnson was the NFL's touchdown leader a year ago with 20 and the league's leading player in yards from scrimmage, representing nearly 40% of the Cardinals' offense. Now the duty belongs to either Kerwin Williams, Andre Ellington, and veteran Chris Johnson. For the Cardinals, I mean, they're basically looking to avoid their first 0-2 start in the Arians era. they will need Palmer, who turns 30 in December, to revert back to his MVP-worthy ways of 2015 when he set multiple career and franchise passing records. And he was totally off his game last week, getting picked off 3 times, including one for a touchdown, and missing the mark on several wide-open throws to receivers. And if there's any good news, it's that Palmer has had a way of bouncing back well from adversity the very next week. Arians has worked with many skilled quarterbacks during his tenure, from Manning to Roethlisberger to Luck and Palmer. So, yeah, so this is definitely going to be a must-win for both teams, but I have to go with the Arizona Cardinals in this one. I mean, the Colts quarterback situation is just an absolute mess, especially after getting blown out by the LA Rams. So I got the Cardinals winning this one. I'm going to say 28 to 10 is going to be my final score. So nothing else to say. Flory, what's yours?
It's working. Okay. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Bullock. I got whoa. Okay, here we go. All right. Just want to make sure we're all set here. I got Arizona winning as well. I agree with you, Bullock. I mean, it's easy to be a prisoner of the moment when you look at both of these offenses, but big blows on both sides. David Johnson out for Arizona, Andrew Luck out for Indianapolis, and the game is going to be a slog to 20 points. Gerald making the difference from the slot 10 to 15 yards at a time. Arizona's going to win this one. I got it a lot more lower scoring than Bullock does. But I also have it a little closer, too. I'd say Arizona will win. I say the final score, however, will be 17-13 in favor of the Arizona Cardinals. So I got to give Arizona the slight edge in this one. Like Bullock said, Indy's a mess. I mean, Bullock pretty much touched on everything. I can't even follow that. So 17-13. Give me Arizona in this one. So MF, about it.
I gotta say Arizona wins the game, but I got it as a 24-10 affair. Like you guys said, Indy's just a complete and utter mess. Andrew Luck is not playing again. That means it's going to be Scott Tolzien. The last time he played, he stunk up the joint so bad in the Coliseum. Normally, you would think the Rams would have been that bad, not the Colts, but the Colts just had nothing whatsoever. They completely, utterly, and straight up humiliated themselves in that game. Nothing more to say. Florio, let's just move on to the next matchup.
And of course, as you all know, we have. Of course, they did a new thing with the FBI. They don't rank every single game, which I wish they would have. They only give you the top 5 games plus one other game they call the high leverage game of the week. The high leverage game of the week. How about this? So here it is. What is that high leverage game of the week? Well, how about the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars from Everbank Field in Jacksonville? That's the game that they selected as the high leverage game of the week. This game will be on CBS at 1 o'clock, and it'll be Spiro Dedes and I believe Adam Archuleta. Is that correct? Yes. Adam Archuleta, they will have the call of that one. The point spread, I believe, favors. Just give me a moment here while it loads. Yeah, it's very slow on my end. I do apologize for that. Bear with me. I believe it favors Jacksonville, believe it or not. Very slow on my end. Okay, here we go. Actually, no, it's Tennessee, 1-3. It's the spread in favor of the Titans. And the series history also favors the Tennessee Titans by a count of 24-20. And then last year, I believe we had a split last year, if I'm not mistaken. And now this is all over the place. Okay. All right. They split, yes. Both teams split. Both teams won at home. Tennessee won 36-22 in Tennessee. Jacksonville won 38-17 in Jacksonville. This game's in Jacksonville, and Tennessee has not won in Jacksonville since 2013. A 20-16 win there. The last 3 years at home against Tennessee. So here we go. High leverage game of the week, fellas, and I started off. Well, the route to the playoffs for any team in the AFC South will be as a division winner, and this game is evidence of that, as the winner will become FPI's clear favorite to win the division. A Titans win would make them 53% favorites to win the division with a 60% chance at making the playoffs, while a loss would drop them to a 23% chance at the division and 32% chance at the playoffs overall. The Jaguars can become 68% favorites to win the division with a 75% overall chance at making the playoffs with a win. A loss would drop that to a 38% chance at the division and 49% at making the playoffs. The swing in the division for both teams is roughly 30%, while the Titans have slightly more to lose when looking at qualifying for the playoffs at a 28% swing, compared to Jacksonville's 26%. No other team this week has an overall playoff leverage over 20%. So, think about those numbers for just a moment while I get my liner note here. Yeah, Jacksonville. What can you say? I mean, they went into Houston. Oh, okay, here it is. It's a little hard to get a read on the Jacksonville Jaguars after a 29-7 Week 1 blowout of the Houston Texans, considering that the latter team is somehow in a quarterback controversy in Week 2. But the Jacksonville defense crushed Houston all game as the offensive line couldn't withhold the Jags' pressure. Combined with the running prowess of rookie Leonard Fournette, the Jags led 19-0 at halftime and never looked back. But the loss of number one wide receiver Allen Robinson is going to hurt, and there will be games where the run game isn't working or the Jags defense isn't making play after play, leading to a potential stagnant offensive showing. One of those matchups will be on this day as Titans quarterback Marcus Mariota does just enough to keep the Jags at bay in another low-scoring game. I'm going with the Tennessee Titans. I mean, I know I blew it last week. I took a chance on them last week. They let me down as they lost at home to the Raiders 26-16. But I think Tennessee can get it back here. I haven't given up. I'm not giving up on this team. I still think they're going to win this division. If I'm wrong, hey, I'm wrong. But hey, when you're high on a team like I am with Tennessee, you got to keep believing in them and don't give up on them. Especially not after 1 week. So Tennessee again. If these guys disagree with me, hey, I'll take the humble pie here. So 17-10, I got Tennessee winning this game. So nothing more to say on this except MF. Let's get your thoughts on Tennessee and Jacksonville, the high leverage game of the week.
High leverage game of the week, and let me tell you, man, the one team that really opened up my eyes was Jacksonville. I mean, they absolutely had, without a doubt, a masterful performance last week. And I don't care that it was a quote-unquote, because, and here's the thing, I don't care that it was a quote-unquote quarterback controversy, because you don't make no excuses whatsoever for anything like that in the NFL. You don't. What the defense did last week in that game was unbelievable. They dominated the game. They put a lot of pressure, only giving up 257 yards total offense, 93 yards on the ground, 164 through the air. And not only that, but they were sacking the quarterback so many times. I think it was a record. I think they sacked. Let me see. I want to check the stats here. I thought I read that it was 11 sacks. I mean, let me double check this. Give me one moment, folks, because I need to see this. It was 10 sacks and forced 4 turnovers in that game. You want to call it a fluke? Be my guest. To me, the Jaguars are for real. And yes, this time they are for real in my eyes. So I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Despite the naysayers out there, who probably goes with everything, who probably went with them on the pigskin pick'em, said that with the picks where they're making them a 2-point underdog, that's fine, because the FPI, which is the ESPN, the kind of Bible of the NFL, the ESPN Football Power Index got Jacksonville a 57% favorite to go. I'm with the nation. I'm going with Jacksonville. I think they're going to go 2-0 in this game. Now, I'm not going to say Blake Bortles is going to have the greatest game of his life. I don't. But one guy who probably will have a great game is Leonard Fournette. He had 100 yards and a touchdown in the game. I think he'll pick up right where he left off. Nothing more for me to say. I got the Jaguars winning this one. It's going to be close. I'm going to say 21-17. Mike Bullock, I'll give it to you.
I'm sorry, MF. I'm going to have to disagree with you on that. I got the Tennessee Titans winning this one. I mean, to me, I just think they're the better team here. I think Marcus Mariota could. I think he's going to have a solid game here, and I do agree with you on one thing. I think it's going to be close because after what we saw, what Jacksonville did, I think they'll hang around with Tennessee. But let's not forget one thing. I mean, with Jacksonville, remember that one time you and I both thought Jacksonville was on the rise. Well,
yeah, how that worked
while
out.
Florio was the one who said I'm not buying into them, and Florio was absolutely spot on. He was at. Oh,
yeah, but out of all the matches that there is, you got to think divisional opponents, they're gonna put the foot down and throttle. And the thing is, did anybody seriously think they were gonna do that to Houston last week? Honestly, I didn't.
I don't think anybody did. But
no.
But the thing is, can they do it 2 weeks in a row? That's the thing. If they can do it, then you know what? I'll agree with you, Flex.
I actually got faith, and that's the thing. Look, I understand what they're doing. Plus, they're also coming off a very emotional win because that was their biggest win of the season. But now they're going back to Jacksonville. They're going home. You don't think those fans are rabid? They're ready for football. They haven't had football in their state for almost 2 weeks because of that hurricane. And you don't think for one Colin Pickens second that those fans in Jacksonville are not ready to knock that door down?
I believe they will be. I'm just saying. I mean, I just think that and I'll tell you this right now. If they pull off this win here, I just may start buying into them as well. I'm just saying. So, but for right now, I got the Tennessee Titans winning this one. But if somehow Jacksonville can do this again, especially against a quarterback like Mariota, then I just might buy into the Jaguars. So, nothing else for me to say. I'm just gonna move on.
All right, guys. We just had the high leverage game of the week, and I got some great news. The next 3 games that we're going to talk about, the next 3, are all in our top 5 FPI games of the week. So we're going to have a lot of fun with these next 3 games. So, I know we're all ready for that. So, our 3 consecutive FPI top 5 NFL games of the week here. And we're going to start off with the game that was ranked at number 5 in the list. The Philadelphia Eagles squaring off against the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. This game will be on Fox, and I believe this is the Kevin Burkhardt game, I believe. I believe this is where we're going to have Kevin Burkhardt with John Lynch, not John Lynch, Charles Davis and Pam Oliver. They will be on the call for the Eagles and the Chiefs at Arrowhead on Sunday afternoon. And looking at the spread here, I do believe that spread. I want to say it's got to be Kansas City. Now it refreshed on me. All right. Give me 1 second. Okay. Kansas City, 6-point favorite against the Eagles. And the series history favors the Philadelphia Eagles 4-3. Last meeting was 2013. Kansas City went into Philadelphia and beat the Eagles 26-16, snapping a 3-game losing streak to the Eagles. Last meeting in Kansas City was 2005. Philadelphia won that one 37-31. And the last time the Chiefs beat the Eagles at home, matter of fact, the only time that the Chiefs have beaten the Eagles at home was back in 1992 when Kansas City won that game by a score of 24-17. So MF, we started off with you, Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs, the number 5 game of the week according to the FBI.
Yeah, number 5 game of the week, and the thing is, for the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, not the greatest performance. It was really their defense that really saved them at the end, getting the sack, fumble, the strip on Kirk Cousins, and then basically gave Philly the win in that game. But there was a little controversy. Some people felt like that wasn't really a fumble, and there was some argument here and there about that. I'm not going to say much about that. I will say this. Kansas City, whoa. Welcome to week 1 on knocking off the defending world champion New England Patriots, and not only knocking them off, basically embarrassing them in their own house, 42-24. Definitely left Michael Bullock in a state of flux. He was not a very happy camper when it was all said and done. I'll say this. This was, without a doubt, the most dominating performance I ever saw a team. Alex Smith, 365 yards, 4 touchdowns in the game. And Kareem Hunt, welcome to the NFL, got a receiving touchdown, had a really big game, about 170 yards all-purpose throughout the night. I mean, it was without a doubt a dominating performance. They flustered Tom Brady. They flustered the team all night long. There was nothing more to say. This was without a doubt one of the best performances I've ever seen from a team. And to me, they were worthy of winning that game. So, yeah, no doubt about it. Nothing more to say for me. Going into this one, this is going to be a very competitive matchup. No doubt about that. I just feel like the problem I got with Philly is they got a lot of injuries going into this game. Now, Kareem Hunt is definitely going to play. I know Alex Smith might rebound, but you lost a receiver. You lost one of your best defensive guys due to an Achilles injury last week, if you guys remember the game. So I don't know if Kansas City is going to be that great this time around. And with Philly, offensively, they didn't look that great. Defensively, they definitely looked a lot more sharp, a lot more better. Can they get after the quarterback again? Can they get to Alex Smith? Can they fluster him? If they can't, Kansas City's walking away with this. Plus, on top of that, you're going to Arrowhead, one of the loudest stadiums in all of the National Football League. I know. Some people in Seattle is going to be like, oh, yeah? You think Kansas City's the loudest? Michael Fletcher, have you ever been to CenturyLink Field with the 12th man? Okay. Easy, friends. I'll say this. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a great matchup. I'm going with Kansas City, but I would not be shocked if Philly wins this. I'm just going to say that. 24-21 Kansas City wins. And just for a brief update, the Houston Texans just tacked on a field goal. They're up 13-9 with 2 minutes left in the game. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about the Kansas City Chiefs? I mean, they went into Foxborough and pulled off the upset and ruined the banner night for the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. And yeah, I mean, it was disappointing, but the thing is, Fletch, I took the loss like a man. I mean, hey, it's only one game, so nothing else to say on that. And you had to give credit to Kansas City. I mean, because they took advantage of some of the mistakes, and yeah, I mean, Kareem Hunt was the big star of that game. I mean, going to that first carry of the game, he fumbles, and you were thinking, oh, he's gonna be in the doghouse, but nope. They stuck with him, and he rewarded them. So, and let's not forget what Tyreek Hill had a big game as well. So, and Alex Smith, all I can say is have yourself a night, my friend. So, yeah, and for Philly, I mean, offensively, I mean, last week it wasn't that good, but defensively, I thought they looked good. And getting back to Kansas City, I mean, you still have a good defense, of course, with Justin Houston and Tom Ali, but of course now, and of course Marcus Peters. But they did lose Eric Berry for the season with a torn Achilles tendon, so that's a big loss in the secondary. So I got the Kansas City Chiefs winning this one. I'm going to say 34-21 Kansas City wins. Florio, what's yours?
The Eagles' sternest test of the season comes early as they head into Kansas City. On top of playing in an already difficult venue in Arrowhead, the Eagles are at a rest disadvantage as Kansas City played their Week 1 matchup last Thursday. The result, the Eagles' only game of the season in which FPI gives them less than a 30% chance to win. An unexpected win would be a boon, however, raising the Eagles' chances at making the playoffs from 46% to 63%. The Kansas City Chiefs looked dominant in a 42-27 win over the New England Patriots on Thursday Night Football Week 1. Most notably, Alex Smith looked like the best quarterback in football for 1 week as he threw downfield darts to his receivers. Rookie running back Kareem Hunt is also phenomenal as he found gaps in the Pats' front seven all game. But the Eagles' defense is much better than the Patriots at the moment, and their front seven is one of the best in football. The issue is in the secondary, where cornerback Ronald Darby is out with an ankle injury. So with that being said, I agree as well. I bet Kansas City winning this game. I'm almost with MF when it comes to the score. He had it 24-21. I got it just a smidgen lower, MF. I got it 20-17, Kansas City over Philadelphia in what will unquestionably be one of the top games of the week without question. Should be a doozy in Arrowhead. I mean, in 2005, you thought that game was fun? Oh, I think this game will be just as fun, if not more so. And now we go from the number 5 game of the week, guys, to the number 2 game of the week. The New England Patriots squaring off against the New Orleans Saints, the Superdome, the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. This game's on CBS, and on the call for CBS, of course, hello, friends, Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson. They will be in the dome for the Patriots and the Saints. And the spread favors the New England Patriots 6.5-7. Series history 9-4 in favor of the New England Patriots. The last meeting was 2013 in Foxborough. The Patriots won 30-27 on a late touchdown. Tom Brady to Kembrell Tompkins, and we'll never forget Scott Zolak losing his mind on the radio call. And I know both
unicorns, show ponies. Where's the beef?
That's a diehard Patriot fan right there. He remembers the call word for word. I mean, that's good.
And of course, there's another thing called YouTube.
Yeah, we'll get more of that in a minute, Bullock. I have one more schematic here. 9-4 for New England. 2013, like I said, was the last meeting in New England. Their last meeting in New Orleans was 2009. Saints pounded the Patriots 38-17. And the Patriots have not won in New Orleans since all the way back in 1998, back when Drew Bledsoe was leading the charge. They came out of there with a 30-27 win. So I believe I have all the schematics out of the way. So Michael Bullock, of course, we remember 2013, the Kenbrell Tompkins late score, which made your boy Zolak lose his mind.
Oh my! That was crazy.
Maybe that was that. I mean, between that call and what he did when, it's in his top three. The other two, of course, the Malcolm Butler interception in 49, and of course the epic comeback in 51. Those were his top three calls of all time. But
I agree with that.
Yes, and anyway, Bullock, New England and New Orleans in the Dome. Our favorite crew is going to be there. Hello, friends, Jim Nantz and all them. They're going to be there. So, and of course, we're getting this game on WPRI 12. Shocking. So, all right.
Yeah, no surprise with that.
Yeah. So, you've had a week to recover from that embarrassing loss to Kansas City. So, what does your team have to do to get back on the winning track against a very good offense? Think about this: Tom Brady, Drew Brees, 2 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks with high-powered offenses. Oh boy, I still 5-star shootout in the Dome.
Yeah, and the thing is, Florio, I mean, with these two combined, they have a combined 6 Super Bowl championships. Of course, 5 of them belonging to Tom Brady. And, of course, Drew Brees, of course, winning Super Bowl 44. So, and let's not forget another thing, they have combined 5 Super Bowl MVPs. Like I said, 4 of them going to Tom Brady, and, of course, Drew Brees was named the MVP of Super Bowl 44. So, yeah. And of course, like you said, the Patriots, I mean, they've had 10 days to try to recover from their embarrassing loss on opening night when they lost 42-27 to the Kansas City Chiefs. While the New Orleans Saints, of course, looked as befuddled as ever defensively and uncharacteristically impotent on offense, and of course, that loss to the Vikings on Monday Night Football. One thing is certain: when the Saints face the Patriots, someone will be leaving the Mercedes-Benz Superdome 0-2, and in a 16-game NFL season, which every game counts, the loser will be digging a quick hole from which statistics suggest it is difficult to escape. For the Saints in particular, another slow start could prove decisive. New Orleans finished 7-9 and failed to make the playoffs in each of the past 3 seasons. Since owning an 11-5 record on December 29, 2013, they've gone, of course, over 1,300 days without a winning record. No wonder quarterback Drew Brees is sounding the alarm. And Tom Brady, of course, lit into his team's performance against the Chiefs. The game will be a homecoming for Patriots wide receiver Brandon Cooks, who spent his first 3 seasons in New Orleans and was traded before the draft. Cooks, of course, is coming off consecutive 1,100 yards receiving seasons, and his value as a long ball threat will increase because of the season-ending injury to Julian Edelman and the concussion from Danny Amendola. Also, Brady's security blanket, tight end Rob Gronkowski, looked rusty in the loss to the Chiefs. So, and of course, for the Saints, of course, the Saints defense, of course, displayed some maddening similarities to the units that have finished in the bottom 5 of the NFL rankings the past 2 seasons. A tepid pass rush and opponents running free in the open field. The Saints allowed Vikings quarterback Sam Bradford time to survey the field, and of course he passed for 346 yards and 3 touchdowns with no turnovers. So, yeah, the offenses for both teams, I expect them to play well. But I think the big key here is, can the Patriots improve defensively? I got the New England Patriots winning this one, but I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. I'm going to say 38-34, New England beats the Saints. Florio, it is yours.
FPI downgraded the Patriots by 3 whole points in a single week after they got beat up by the Chiefs. That's a big move, and it's the third largest drop in the league behind only the Texans and Colts. Most noticeably, FPI dropped New England's defensive rank from second all the way to 16th. We'll learn a lot more about that defense when it takes on Drew Brees and the seventh best offense in New Orleans. I can't help but have a gut feeling that New England Patriots wide receiver Brandon Cooks is going to return to the place he called home before being traded and dominate the Saints secondary all game to the tune of 100-plus yards and a score or two. I'm sure I'm not the only one with that same sentiment. We've seen players come back to old stomping grounds and have great games, and the guess is that Cooks etches his name on that ledger this weekend in a track meet. This will be a shootout, no doubt about it. And I agree with you, Bullock. I got the New England Patriots bouncing back with the win here. My final score, 37-33, New England over New Orleans, in what I believe will be a 5-star Shakespearean drama-laden shootout in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome on Sunday afternoon. So, nothing more to say. MF, I mean, normally this would be our game of the week, but because of the way we do things with our broadcasting, we're shaking things up. But New England and New Orleans, man, easily would have been our game. Number 2 overall. Your thoughts on what I think will be an incredible shootout?
Oh, most definitely. I would have said more like in the grand scheme of things. I think at the end of the day, I would have gone definitely with New England in this situation, even though I think it could have been a lot more better. But I don't know. It was just one of those type of games that you just, I don't know. It's going to be a good matchup, no doubt about it. 35-31, I'll give it to New England as well. And yeah, that's it. So nothing more to say. So let's just move on. Well, actually, hold your thoughts. Yep, I was about to say the Houston Texans defeats the Cincinnati Bengals by the final score of 13-9. Nothing more to say. And J.J. Watt put the exclamation point in the game. Basically, Anthony, for the first time this season, 61 Boone, you just got mic'd up.
Okay. It must have been a fact moment. That is what I would do. But nonetheless, Houston wins 13-9. Houston 1-1. Cincinnati Bengals in an 0-2 hole. Oh boy. Perhaps if this keeps trending, Michael Bullock's sentiment could ring true when it comes to the future of Marvin Lewis. So we're gonna have to really keep a close eye on that. Next week, the Houston Texans Houston goes to New England next week. Texans against the Patriots in Foxborough. And guys, it doesn't get any easier for the Cincinnati Bengals. Guess who they have to go up against next? Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau. Oh, boy. Tough games for Houston and Cincinnati next week when Houston goes to Foxborough and Cincinnati goes to Green Bay. Oof, boy, howdy. I'm staring at 0-3 for Cincinnati. Probably 1-2 for Houston, so we'll see. All right. With that being said, let's move on to our next top 5 game of the week. It's the number 4 matchup. Number 4 game of the week right here. The Minnesota Vikings squaring off against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. This game will be on Fox. And by the way, guys, according to our 506 maps, we're getting this game on our local Fox affiliate, Fox Providence. Kenny Albert, Rondé Barber, Christina Pink, they will be at Heinz Field for this one. And the spread favors the Pittsburgh Steelers. 5.5 to 6 is the spread for the Steelers. Series history favors Minnesota, actually, 9 to 7. Last meeting, 2013. That game was in London, England, at Wembley Stadium. And the Vikings came away with a win, 34 to 27. Last meeting in Pittsburgh was in 2009. Pittsburgh won that one, 27 to 17. Last time Minnesota won in Pittsburgh, you got to go all the way back to 1995 when the Vikings put a 44 to 24 beat down on the Steelers at the old Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. So those are your schematics. Number 4 game of the week, a matchup featuring 2017's total QBR leader and also Ben Roethlisberger. That's how these two quarterbacks are usually described, right? Sam Bradford's magnificent game against the Saints on Monday Night Football prompted more than a 2-point bump in the Vikings' offensive FBI. While Roethlisberger also had a solid day at the office, that the Steelers could only beat the Browns by 3 points in a game in which they scored a special teams touchdown is really an indictment of their talents. And FBI noticed, dropping them 5 spots, and overall FBI ranked to number 8. What do I have? Okay. All right, hang on one second. Okay. If you just look at the 29-19 score of the Minnesota Vikings versus New Orleans Saints Monday Night Football game, you might think that the contest was fairly close. However, the Vikings pretty much did whatever they wanted on offense, and on defense, they largely shut down the Saints' running attack and passing attack. Give the edge to the defenses in this one, as both of them look like top 5 units in football. But with this game being in Pittsburgh, and considering the fact that I think the Steelers are a smidge better, I say Pittsburgh will win this one. I say final score 17-13. Pittsburgh over Minnesota. This is going to be a great game, and this is one I'm definitely going to have a vested interest in on our Fox affiliate, Fox Providence, coupled with the Patriots and Saints game. Yeah, I'm going to have more of a vested interest in New England and New Orleans because I'm an offensive guy. Michael Fletcher, on the other hand, good old MF, as we bring you on in for this one. This one's right up your alley, man. We're looking at a defensive battle here. So, Minnesota and Pittsburgh, number 4 game of the week. This is looking like a defensive battle to me. I don't know about you.
Not necessarily a defensive battle. I mean, yeah, Tampa. I'm sorry. I think Minnesota was pretty good last week, no doubt about it. I mean, they held the high-powered New Orleans offense, and that pretty much held them in the check, only giving them 19 points the whole night. Pittsburgh, I mean, they really didn't really do much. I mean, they almost blew it against Cleveland. So I'm not as high as you guys are. I'll give it to Pittsburgh. I'll say Pittsburgh will win, but I'm not very high on this one. 21-17 is my score, but other than that, I got nothing more to say. So Mike Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers winning as well. I mean, I think this is going to be a close one here. I'm going to say 24-17 is going to be my final score. Like you said, Pittsburgh. I mean, they didn't look too impressive, and to the point that Cleveland, put up a fight against them. I mean, here we thought they were going to blow them out, but that was not the case here. So, and Minnesota, I thought they looked really good, of course, on opening night and on Monday Night Football. Bradford had a really good game, and Stephon Diggs as well. So, but in the end, I still got Pittsburgh winning, but this is going to be a close one here. So, nothing else for me to say. So, Florio, I think that's it for the 1 o'clock games. Now let's get on to the late games.
No, there's actually one more. We have one more.
All right, so I was wrong.
Matchup. The Chicago Bears squaring off against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. This game will be on Fox. The legendary Dick Stockton. Oh, this is awesome. Dick Stockton on the call. He's going to be joined by his new broadcast partner, Mark Schlereth, and their sideline reporter, Shannon Spake. They were supposed to be in Miami for that Buck-Dolphin game, but obviously they didn't get a chance to do it, so they're going to be here. They're going to be in Tampa for that one. And the spread favors the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 7 to 7.5 points. Series history 38-19 in favor of the Chicago Bears. However, the Buccaneers won their last meeting. That was last year in Tampa. Tampa won easily 36-10. The year before, Chicago won in Tampa 26-21. So I believe I've got all the schematics out of the way. And it's MF who gets to start off on this one. So MF, Chicago, Tampa, Raymond James Stadium. Let's just say Bucky's going to get ready to start firing some cannons, baby.
Hey, you know what? And I'll tell you one thing. You want to talk about it? We talked about how Miami was itching to play some football. Tampa's is itching to play some football as well, man. Look, what happened last week, and we're going to get into Miami in just a minute. So unfortunate for Tampa because they really got shafted in this as well. Basically, now they got to play 16 consecutive weeks, no breaks at all. They're just itching to get into some action. But, luckily for them, they actually get to go home, play in their own house, don't have to worry about taking any flights or anything like that. And they're going to get to play against a really inferior team in the Chicago Bears. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I got no faith in Matt McGloin. I have nothing to say good about him whatsoever. So sorry, Bears fans. I know if you guys want to jump me, go right ahead. I don't give a damn. When it comes to Tampa, there's so much of an unknown because we don't know what Tampa's going to bring to the table. With Jameis Winston, we don't know what he's going to look like. We don't know what the receiving core is going to look like. The defense is going to look like because we got nothing to build off because they haven't played yet. So, of course, you're going to say, oh, they might be a little rusty because, they didn't get to play last week. Chicago did get to play, so a little advantage for Chicago. But normally, when in any other situation, I would be like, okay, I would give you that. But I think Tampa is going to be fine. I think Tampa is ready. They're motivated. They're focused. And because it's a more easier opponent, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this one, 21-14. Mike Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Tampa Bay comes out, and of course they didn't play last week, and like you said, Fletch, now they're going to have to go and play for like 16 consecutive weeks here. So we're going to find out what this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team is made of when it comes to that. Chicago, I mean, I thought they looked good even in defeat, and they hung in there with the Atlanta Falcons. And by the way, Fletch, it's Mike Glennon who was the starting quarterback. So just wanted to correct you on that. So, but either way, I got Tampa Bay winning this one. I'm going to say 27-21 is going to be your final score. So nothing else to say except Florida, what's yours?
Yeah, Bears rookie running back Tariq Cohen dominated in the opener, but the Chicago offense is still missing a solid number one wide receiver to depend on in future games. Losing Cameron Meredith in the preseason was a devastating blow, and losing rookie Kevin White certainly doesn't help matters as his progress keeps getting stunted by injury. The Bucs have some great talent in the front seven, and if they shut down the running game, then this will be a long day on offense for the Chicago Bears. So I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning this one as well. My final score, not as competitive as you guys have it, but I got Tampa Bay winning nonetheless, 17-6. That's my final score. So that now we get into the first of our late games, 4 or 5 games, and it's the other team that got impacted last week. Michael Fletch's Miami Dolphins, their season opener, as they score off against the brand new Los Angeles Chargers at the Home Depot Center. Yes, in Carson City, California. That's where we're going to have this matchup. Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, Jamie Erdahl, they're going to be on the call for CBS. And the spread actually favors the Los Angeles Chargers by 3.5. Series history, 15-13 in favor of the Miami Dolphins. They last met last year in San Diego, and the Dolphins came out of there with a 31-24 win. Chargers' last home win against the Dolphins was the year before, 2015. That was a 30-14 win for the Chargers. And, the Los Angeles Chargers, a new era for them, as they will be playing their home games. I beg your pardon. It's the StubHub Center. The StubHub Center in Los Angeles. Of course, you also, for all you Major League Soccer fans out there, it actually is the home stadium of the Los Angeles Galaxy, the multi-time MLS Cup champion Los Angeles Galaxy. So Michael Bullock, we started off with you, a brand new era. They were the San Diego Chargers, and now they're the Los Angeles Chargers, and they nearly pulled off a comeback for the ages against Denver. But Miami comes in, first ever playoff appearance, Jay Cutler signing with them. So interesting game when it comes to, I can honestly say this for me, for my taste, is the sleeper game of the week, Miami and the Chargers.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting game here. I mean, of course, with the Miami Dolphins, of course, they're also going to be playing for 16 consecutive weeks. Well, obviously, the damage from Hurricane Irma, and for the Chargers, of course, this is basically their first home game at the StubHub Center, and it only seats like 30,000, so people have already crapped all over it. But it is what it is. I mean, that's where they're going to play until that new stadium opens, and the Chargers are seeking their first win after dropping their opener to Denver. While the Chargers were losing yet another AFC West game, the Dolphins already had their feet up in Southern California after heading west early. Of course, I already mentioned all about with Irma. The Chargers are on a short week after playing the back end of a Monday Night Football doubleheader and don't have time to lick their mile-high wounds. The Chargers possess a familiar feeling, one that haunted them through a 5-win season last year. No matter where they call home, the Chargers were in San Diego for 56 years. The team still can't win close games. Not the first one anyway, as the kicker's 44-yard field goal was blocked as time ran out on LA and Denver. Among Lynn's first tasks is to make sure the loss to the Broncos doesn't leak into the team's build-up in facing the Dolphins. Miami will not only be fresh, but it will offer a balanced offensive attack led by new quarterback Jay Cutler and bruising running back Jay Ajayi. Will have plenty of challenges when the Dolphins exit their locker room from the StubHub Center field, but confident the Chargers won't have the here we go again attitude after losing another tight game. The Chargers lost 8 games by 7 points or fewer last year, one of them to the Dolphins. The Chargers took a step backward from when facing the Dolphins last year, losing 31-24 at Qualcomm Stadium. The year before that, the Chargers prevailed in their last home game of 2015, one that they thought would be their last in San Diego. But the Chargers, of course, stuck around the following year, and of course, in the ribs by Miami last season with Ryan Tannehill throwing for 2 touchdowns and 240 yards. In typical Chargers fashion, they squandered a late lead. Kiko Alonso collected Rivers' 4th interception in the game and returned it 60 yards for a touchdown. Among the storylines is, of course, how Cutler folds back into the NFL regimen. Cutler, who played for Dolphins coach Adam Gase in Chicago as a coordinator, was set to begin his NFL broadcasting career. Of course, we all know Cutler, of course, was lured out of retirement. Dirk Cutter, Cutler's last offensive coordinator, isn't shy about stating Cutler's attributes. Of course, we all know about that. So I think this is it's going to be an interesting game here, but in the end, I think I got the Miami Dolphins winning this one. I think they're motivated, of course, after their city from Hurricane Irma. I think Jay Ajayi is going to have a big game on the ground. To win this one, I'm going to say 31-20 is going to be my final score. So, Flory, what's yours?
I disagree, Bullock. I got the Chargers winning this one. And let me give you my thoughts on this. The AFC West has the potential to be the best division in NFL history. It's not implausible to think that each team could finish with a winning record, with the last place team coming in at 9-7. That's because last year's last place team, the Los Angeles Chargers, had terrible luck when it lost so many close games. Of course, that happened again after a blocked field goal preserved a 24-21 loss to the Denver Broncos on Monday Night Football. but LA simply has too much talent on both sides of the ball. Provided they stay healthy, the Chargers should have a good year and have a few blowout wins on their resume. The first one will be Sunday. Sorry to tell you that, MF. So I got the Chargers winning this one 27-10 behind big game from Phillip Rivers. Like I said, I still don't trust Jay Cutler as far as I could throw him. But if he surprises me, I'll take it back. But for right now, I just don't trust Cutler. I'm sorry. So 27-10, I got the LA Chargers winning. So MF, I mean, I know you've been chomping at the bits to talk Miami Dolphins football on this show. Now you're going to finally get your chance, and your Dolphin family, your dad, Eric Carrier, Lisa Medeiros, Bianca Corbin, I know you're all are ready and raring to go, chomping at the bits. It's Dolphin time, my friend. How does it look for week 1 against the LA Chargers?
I'm going to say this. Going into this, it was really one of those annoyance than anything else. Because we got to see everybody play their game, and everybody had their one game in and the whole 9 yards, while we were sitting idle by, waiting for the opportunity to get in here and get into the fray and get into the war zone, as they say. But look, we had to, because the hurricane was a big deal. So obviously we were very nervous about the families, everybody out. And then to go out west, to get them into California and make sure that everybody was okay and the whole 9 yards. So, yeah, this last week, it was more about getting the families to California, making sure everybody's okay, that we can, at least have some kind of normalcy for them. Now, the time for talking's over. Now it's just go out there, do your job, do your business. Everybody has a lot of doubts about Miami. When Tannehill went down with the injury, they're like, oh, they're going to fall apart. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. The whole 9 yards. I think none of you guys saw what I saw in preseason. And that was Jay Cutler going out there and actually looking really good. He was very good in preseason. The 2 games that he had 7 touchdowns to 1 INT. So obviously a lot of people are like, oh yeah, but can you turn that around? Can you dominate? Can you do that again? I don't understand why a lot of people really doubt Miami. Okay, we got a different quarterback, but we still got a 3-headed monster at the wide receiver. We got Jay Ajayi, who is one of the best running backs in the game, and we got a defense that can get after you. And lo and behold, last season, we beat the Chargers on the road. And you dare us to question that again? Now, I get it. Everybody's going to pick San Diego because, everybody's going to pick LA because they're the sexy pick. And everybody thinks, they're going to, Miami is not focused. They're not ready. They're going to get stomped. We haven't even played a game yet. You don't know what we possess. And on top of that, Adam Gates had 2 weeks to prepare. You think for 1 second that we're not coming out guns blazing and ready to punch you in the mouth? So, okay, fine. Everybody's going against Miami. Everybody's wanted to doubt us again like you did last year. And how did that turn out? 10-6 and a playoff berth. So, go ahead. Doubt us again. Please doubt us so we can punch you in the mouth and prove you wrong. Again. Nothing more to say. Dolphins win. Florio, go. You just pissed me off.
Well, both picked the Dolphins too. So.
Yeah, I had the Dolphins winning too. And I'll even go as far as I had them going into the playoffs as a wild card.
Well, remains to be seen. That's all I can say on that. Remains to be seen. So, not good when we get them in Cerebral Viper mode, but, it is what it is. So, all right, let's move on to our next game. It's the other 4:05 game on CBS. The New York Jets squaring off against the Oakland Raiders at the Oakland Coliseum in Oakland, the O.Co Coliseum. This game will be on CBS as well, and it's going to be Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, and Evan Washburn. They will be in the black hole for this one. One of the two big favorites of the week. I believe they're the second biggest favorite of the week, the Raiders. In excess of 13 to 14 and a half points in favor of the Raiders. Series history favors the Raiders as well, 22-17 with two ties. 1965, they had a 24-all tie in New York, and in 1966, a 28-28 tie in Oakland. Low scoring at home. Their last meeting was 2 years ago, 2015. Raiders won that one 34-20 in Oakland. Jets haven't won in Oakland since 2009 when they put up a 38-0 beatdown on the Raiders in Oakland back in 2009. So I believe all the schematics are out of the way, and I believe I start this one off. So the Oakland Raiders defense looked quite good in a 26-16 win over the Tennessee Titans, who on paper have one of the better offenses in football. It's even more impressive that Oakland traveled 2 time zones and did this on the road. Now they are home and facing one of the worst offenses in the NFL. The Jets will struggle to score in the double digits, and Raiders wideouts Michael Crabtree and Amari Cooper should move the ball downfield in bunches all game. I'm not going to waste much time on this. Another 27-10 final, this one in favor of the Silver and Black, the Oakland Raiders. It's going to be a long day for Gang Green in the black hole. And before I throw it to you, MF, I'm going to do another one of our funny moments. I did it last night. I'm going to do it again here tonight. Gang Green, New York Jets, I hope you brought your gear because you're going to be in for a long day in the black hole. 27-10, Raiders all day over the Jets Jets. So, MF, it's going to be a long day for Gang Green in the black hole, one of your personal favorite fan bases.
Yeah, definitely, no doubt about it. I'm gonna go with the Raiders as well. I mean, the Jets kind of had a bad game. The Raiders definitely looked really good. So no, without a doubt, I got the Raiders to win this game as well. Nothing more to say. So let's just move on. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I got the Oakland Raiders winning this one as well. I mean, we all know everything about the Jets, so there's really nothing more for me to say. So let's just move on, Florio.
And we move on now to the 425 games, and this may be America's game of the week on Fox, but overall, it's the number 3 game of the week according to the FPI. The Dallas Cowboys squaring off against the Denver Broncos at Sports Authority Field in Mile High in Denver. You know who's working this one. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Aaron Andrews. They will be in Denver for the Cowboys and the Broncos. You know, just give me a moment here as I look up my schematics here. Okay. Spread favors the Dallas Cowboys by a count of 1-3. That's a 1-3 point spread for Dallas, and the series history favors the Denver Broncos 7-4. Here's the thing: the Denver Broncos have won the last 5 meetings in a row. Last time they met, 2013, one of the craziest games we could ever remember, with Denver winning that game by a score of 51-48. Their last time they met in Denver, 2009, much, much lower scoring. It was only 17-10, but Denver won that as well. The Dallas Cowboys have not won in Denver since 1992, when Troy Aikman and company went in there and stole one at the old Mile High Stadium, 31-27. So, number 3 FPI game of the week. in a game of this magnitude, there's only one man who can lead off on this, and that's good old MF Michael Fletcher. So, MF, Dallas, Denver, number 3 game of the week, America's game of the week on Fox. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Aaron Andrews. This should be a fun one.
This should be a fun one. This is going to be an actual amazing game, to say the very least. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to say. All I know is that it's going to be a great battle, a great battle whatsoever. Really nothing more to say, but I will say this. It's going to be a true, unbelievable matchup. It's going to be a great game, exciting as hell, too. When you got 2 great teams like Dallas and Denver's got the defense. Offensively, Dallas very explosive. Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott. You got the receivers. Cole Beasley. Oh my God, Cole Beasley had the catch of the week last week in week 1. Did you guys see that ridiculous catch he made? Oh my word! Are you kidding me, Colt? I mean, dude, that was amazing. But I hate to say this. I know there's a lot of Cowboys fans out there. I'm just gonna say this. Sorry, guys. I think Denver wins. I just think their defense is just a little better. I think they're gonna have enough to get the job done. So give me the Broncos 24-21. I just think they're just gonna be a tad better than the Cowboys. I got Denver winning. So, Mike Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I think this should be a good game, but the thing is, I got Dallas winning this one. I mean, that catch from Cole Beasley, whew, that was sick. And at this point, it has to be an early candidate for catch of the year. I'm just saying early candidate. Because we still got a long way to go with the games that we have. So, yeah, so. Don't get me wrong. Denver's really good. I think they'll definitely, especially with that defense, is gonna give the Dallas Cowboys some fits. But I just think at the end, Dallas is just a little bit better. Prescott. I think he'll have a big game through the air and the ground. Same thing with Ezekiel Elliott. So, yeah, I got the Dallas Cowboys winning this one. In a close game. I'm going to say probably 21-17 is going to be my final score. Florio, what's yours?
Classic question. Who do I agree with? Do I agree with Michael Fletcher in Denver, or do I agree with Michael Bullock in Dallas? Sorry, MF, I got to go with Bullock on this one. I got Dallas winning this one as well. But before I get into that, let me give you the schematics here. The Cowboys received a decent-sized FPI upgrade after handily beating the Giants, whom the model previously had pegged as having the best defense in the NFL. Now it believes Dallas is the 3rd best team in the NFL behind the Chiefs and Patriots, with an overall FPI of +5. That's 4.9 points better than FPI's rating of the Broncos, whom the metric has been skeptical of since the preseason. That difference in strength is enough to make the Cowboys favorites in this one, even on the road. The number 3 game of the week will take place in Denver as the Cowboys travel to face the Broncos. And Ezekiel Elliott should give the Broncos run defense fits. As good as the Denver pass defense is, its run D is not on par to be exploited. In fairness, the Broncos held Los Angeles Chargers running back Melvin Gordon to just 54 yards on 18 carries Monday night. But running back Elliott is behind one of the best offensive lines in recent memory. Clear edges to Dallas. For Denver, quarterback Trevor Siemian might be pretty darn good. He evaded other quarterbacks in an offseason competition for the job and started the year with a 61% completion rate against a tough Chargers pass defense, featuring edge rusher Joey Bosa and quarterback Casey Hayward. He'll have his success again on Sunday, leading to an exciting battle in Denver. In the end, expect the Dallas ground game to be the difference. So, with that being said, I'm sorry, MF, I got to go with Bullock on this one. 23-20, Dallas over Denver. And it should be a great game though, nonetheless. So with that being said, let's move on to our next 425 game. The Washington Redskins squaring off against the Los Angeles Rams at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum in Los Angeles. This game will be on Fox, and working this game will be Tom Brenneman with Chris Spielman and Peter Schrager. They will be in the Coliseum. And believe it or not, guys, the Rams are favorited 2.5 to 3 in favor of the Rams. Series history favors the Washington Redskins 23 to 11 with a tie. The one tie was in 1967 in Los Angeles, 28 all. Their last meeting was 2015. The Redskins won that one 24 to 10 at FedEx Field in Washington. The last time the Rams hosted was 2012 in St. Louis. Rams won 31-28. Last meeting in Los Angeles, got to go back to 1994, and the Redskins won that game 24-21. In 1993, the last time the LA Rams beat the Redskins at home. So, I believe it's Michael Bullock who starts this one off. So, Bullock, Redskins, tough loss to the Eagles, but the Rams, we said it once before earlier, we'll say it again. Against what they did against the Indianapolis Colts, only one word comes to mind, in the immortal word of Ron Simmons. Damn!
Damn! Yeah. We all thought, we knew the Rams were going to win this one, but we didn't think that they were going to win the way they did. Whew. But yeah, the Redskins, of course, a tough. Yeah, like you said, when it comes to the Redskins, of course, a tough loss last Sunday to the Eagles, and but yeah, that. But getting back to the LA Rams, this coming, so the Rams coach Sean McVay will welcome some old friends to the Coliseum. After watching nearly everything go right in their 46-9 demolition of the Colts, the Rams will face a Redskins team trying to avoid an 0-2 start. McVay spent 7 seasons in Washington, including the last 3 as offensive coordinator, during which time he helped develop quarterback Kirk Cousins. It's safe to say he knows a little bit about the team's offense. Any advantage McVay has only adds to the Redskins' worries after their 30-17 loss to the Eagles. Despite preaching balance, Washington never established the run. Cousins was sacked 4 times, and when he did have time to throw, he was often inaccurate, completing 23 of 40 attempts. History would suggest Cousins will rebound. In his 3 season openers, he has thrown 5 interceptions and lost 2 fumbles. He and the offense will have to be better Sunday. Following the Rams, Washington hosts the Raiders on Sunday night, then travel to Kansas City before their bye week. The Rams' defense dominated and outscored the Colts, putting up 16 points. The Colts made only 10 first downs and were 0 for 10 on third down conversions. The first time a team hasn't converted a since the last week of 2015, when Cincinnati went 0 for 9 against Baltimore. The rich will get richer if defensive tackle Aaron Donald, who ended his 37-day contract holdout and reported to the Rams the day before the opener, is ready to play. Cousins and company will confront a secondary that returned 2 interceptions for touchdowns against the Colts while surrendering just 150 yards through the air. Redskins receiver Josh Doctson, who missed 3 of 4 preseason games with a hamstring injury, wasn't targeted during his 20 snaps Sunday. He was limited in practice Wednesday with a hamstring injury. Washington's revamped defense showed improvement against the Eagles. The Redskins stopped the run and scored on linebacker Ryan Kerrigan's interception return. The problem was that they couldn't get off the field often enough, a carryover from a year ago. The Redskins' defense allowed the Eagles to convert 8 of 14 third downs, including 6 of 7 yards or more. Redskins safety DJ Swearinger was limited Wednesday. Yeah, and then of course, Maurice Alexander, quarterback Kayvon Webster, didn't even practice. Rams quarterback Jared Goff connected with 8 receivers while completing 21 of 29 passes for 307 yards and a touchdown in Week 1, including his new receivers Sammy Watkins, Robert Woods, and Cooper Kupp combined for 12 catches. Goff is going to have to need to duplicate that effort again, as the Rams managed 63 yards on 33 carries for a dismal 1.9 yards per attempt average against the Colts, while the Redskins held the Eagles to 58 yards rushing. So, Yeah, so this is going to be a tough one to call, but I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm actually going to go with the Rams here. I mean, call me crazy for saying it, but I mean, I like what I saw from Goff. I mean, his new receivers really helped out, and I just think it's going to be tough for the Redskins, especially after that loss. So give me the Rams to win this one, surprisingly. So, Florio, it's yours. Could you imagine the possibility of the LA Rams going 2-0?
I can see it. I mean, with Los Angeles Rams defensive tackle Aaron Donald back in the mix, the LA defense should be stout against the Washington Redskins defense that looked pedestrian at best in a 30-17 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles at home. Expect the Washington offense to click later in the season, but for now, a cross-country trip to Los Angeles against a good team defense is not a recipe for high scoring. That being said, the guess here is that the Rams offense isn't nearly as good as what it showed on Sunday in a 46-9 rout of the Indianapolis Colts, especially considering that running back Todd Gurley only rushed for 40 yards and 19 carries. But nonetheless, I'm going to go with Bullock on this one. 17-16. Give me the LA Rams to surprisingly go 2-0. So, MF, are we going to make you unanimous, or are you going to disagree with us? Redskins and Rams in the Coliseum.
How can you not say that LA should not win this? I think they will. Going into this game, if this would have been a little more earlier in the season, like if this would have been like, I want to say last season, I probably would say I'm going with Washington easily. But Todd Gurley had an okay game. Jared Goff exploded, and even Crump had 4 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown. I'm not really sold on Kirk Cousins. I don't think Washington really has a legitimate rush game, to say the very least. So, no. And plus, their defense is bad. I mean, defensively alone, they gave up 365 yards last week, 330 through the air. So, no, I think Jared Goff will have a good game. I don't think he's going to put up the same numbers he did last week. I don't think he's going to go over 300, but I could see 200, 250 for Jared Goff. I think Gurley should get about 100, close to 100 yards this time around. But again, I'm going to say it. I totally believe this is a little more of a better matchup. I believe that their defense is a little better. So yeah, I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna agree with you guys. I'm going with the LA Rams. I'm gonna go with the LA Rams to win the game in the Coliseum. Not only that, but at least 61% of us of the nation on ESPN agrees with us as well. So no, unanimous decision. The Rams win. Upward and onward.
Indeed. And our final 425 game, we got the San Francisco 49ers squaring off against the Seattle Seahawks at CenturyLink Field in Seattle. This game will be on Fox. And on the call for that will be a man that MF and I know very well, the voice of the New York Rangers on the Madison Square Garden Network, the legendary Sam Rosen. He will be on the call with David Deal and the beautiful Jennifer Hale on the sidelines. Seattle, I'm going to tell you right now, they're the biggest favorite of the week. Oh, yeah. Biggest favorite of the week. How big? Try 14 to 15 points. And someone you might want to consider if you're in one of those eliminator pools. Them or Oakland. Those are my top two when it comes to the eliminator pool. But nonetheless, 14 to 15 is the spread in favor of Seattle. They lead the all-time series 21 to 15. And including that epic NFC Championship game a few years ago, the Seahawks have won the last 7 meetings in a row against the 49ers. 49ers have not beaten the Seahawks since 2013 when they pulled out a 19-17 win in San Francisco. San Fran last won in Seattle in 2011, a 19-17 win. But since then, it's been all Seattle all the time. In Seattle against the Niners, including that epic NFC title game where Richard Sherman, went off on Aaron Andrews afterwards. You all remember that infamous moment. So, all right, MF, We talked about loud stadiums earlier. We talked about how Arrowhead's the loudest, and you brought up CenturyLink Field in Seattle. Well, here you go. CenturyLink Field, 12th man, their home opener against an inferior Niner team, biggest favorite of the week. I smell eliminator pick.
This is going to be this is going to be bad. San Fran didn't play. They didn't even play good against when they had their first game out, lost 23-3 to Carolina, and now they're going against Seattle. And now they're going up against Seattle, who basically kind of got embarrassed by Green Bay last week. 17-9 they lost. So I mean, you honestly think Seattle is gonna? No, they are mad. They are mad. They are ticked. They're looking for blood, guys. They are back home, CenturyLink Field, with that 12th man against a divisional opponent. This got blood bath written all over it, y'all. This is not going to go pretty. This is not going to go well. I'm sorry. I'm calling it blowout, domination. Is there anything else I need to say? Give me the Seattle Seahawks to destroy and crush the San Francisco 49ers into submission this week. So, nothing more to say. Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, it's going to be bloodbath city after what happened with the Seahawks, the way they lost to the Packers, and the 49ers not playing well. Whew. It's going to be a bloodbath. Seahawks are going to win all the way, so nothing else to say. Flory, what's yours?
It's not easy to go into Lambeau Field and hold Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers to just 17 points, especially when the offense can't get anything going. However, the Seattle Seahawks did just that as the Pack struggled against the tough Hawks defense, which might end up being the best in football this year. Now Seattle gets to face a much weaker opponent that only mustered 3 points on Sunday, and it'll do so in the friendly confines of CenturyLink Field. Seattle should cruise to an easy, low-scoring win. 27-7, Seattle all over San Francisco. Nothing more to say except, fellas, it's time not only for Sunday Night Football, but it's also time for the number one game of the week. Number one, according to the FPI, the Green Bay Packers squaring off against the Atlanta Falcons, the brand new Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. You know who's working this one. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. The rematch of the NFC Championship game, which Atlanta won handily over Green Bay. The spread favors. Just give me one moment here. It's frozen, so just give me one quick moment here. I want to say Atlanta is the favorite here. Just
Atlanta by 3.5.
Yep, that's exactly. Well, actually, I have a little different MF, 2.5 to 3. But yes, it is Atlanta. The Falcons are a 2.5 to 3 point favorite in this one. And the series history favors the Green Bay Packers 15-13. Twice they met both times in Atlanta. Atlanta won 33-32 in the regular season, and then followed it up with the 44-21 pounding in the NFC Championship game. Their last meeting in Lambeau was in 2014. Green Bay won. That was also a shootout, 43-37. Atlanta has not won at Lambeau since 2008, when the Falcons won 27-24. So with all that being said, I believe it's Michael Bullock who starts this one off. So Bullock, how about this, my man? You get to lead off on the number one game of the week, according to the FBI.
Oh, yeah, and the Green Bay Packers, they're going to want payback after getting blown out in the NFC Championship game by the Atlanta Falcons. And, of course, the Green Bay Packers offense, I mean, they got off to a little bit of a slow start last week, but they did pick it up like right at the very end. And the Falcons, of course, they basically had a tough time with the Chicago Bears, and yeah, so I think this is going to be like another offensive shootout. I think this could be a 5-star classic with Shakespearean drama. So basically, I'm gonna go with the Atlanta Falcons to win this one. I'm gonna go 42. Yeah, I'm gonna go 42-35. Atlanta will win this one. Matt Ryan's gonna have a solid game. Julio Jones is gonna have a solid game. I think you also see guys like Austin Hooper have a big game. The defense, of course, with Deion Jones, Devondre Campbell, Keanu Neal, and Brian Poole, I think will play well enough to. But I mean, Aaron Rodgers is gonna have a big game too. But in the end, I got Atlanta winning. There's no way they're going to lose in their first game at the brand new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So I got Atlanta winning. Flory, what's your?
This rematch of last year's NFC Championship game features two teams that FPI considers to still be extremely close in strength. Interestingly, the model slightly downgraded the Packers even after they beat a tough opponent in the Seahawks. The reason is that as much as Green Bay's defense performed above expectation, its offense fell far short of what the model anticipated. Even still, it's no surprise that this showdown pits what FPI considers to be the second best offense, Atlanta, against the sixth best offense in Green Bay. The 2016 pair of games between these teams have featured 65 combined points each, with the Falcons winning by scores of 33-32 and 44-21. There's no reason to think that this game will fail to shoot out once again, as there is simply too much Pro Bowl talent on both offensive sides, led by Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers and Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan. Give the edge to the Falcons at home, and that's all I can say on that. I definitely agree with Bullock on this one. Atlanta wins. This is going to be the game of the week. This is going to be a 5-star classic, Shakespearean drama. Matter of fact, I think this game will be even better than the NFC Championship game, no doubt about it. Falcons win 38-34. It's going to be hella fun. I can't wait. This is a game that I'm going to have a major vested interest in because, it's another offensive shootout. I mean, first New England and New Orleans, and now these two. It's going to be an offensive shootout. So, sorry, MF. You're not going to get much defense in this one, I'm afraid. So, 38-34, Atlanta wins. MF, the game of the week right here. Number one FPI game of the week, NFC rematch. Who gets the edge in the brand new Mercedes-Benz Stadium?
You got to have to say it's Atlanta. You got to say it probably will be Atlanta who will probably win this game. This is going to be a great battle. This is going to be a great war. Anybody who thinks that it's going to be close or anything else like that, I'm sorry, guys. You ain't getting any close matchups whatsoever. This is going to be exciting to say the very least. And, you're going to get those moments during the game where certain battles is going to look really good. And look, the matchups are the matchups. Aaron Rodgers versus Matty Ice. The run team, I think the advantage goes to Atlanta. The receivers, when you got Jordy Nelson, Adams, and whatnot against, Julio Jones and them boys, that's about a wash. Defensively, this is where I might give a slight advantage to Atlanta, just barely. But let me tell you, it's only a slight advantage. It's not nothing more, nothing less. This is going to be a great matchup, game of the week without a doubt. But I'm with you guys. I am going with the Atlanta Falcons as well. I think they just have enough weapons to get over the hump, over the hill. They're going to get that win, and they're going to go 2-0 in this young NFL season. Nothing more to say. We got one game left, Monday Night Football. And the return of Hank Williams Jr. and all his rowdy friends. They do it big on Monday night. What we got for Monday night this time, Florio?
Another interesting matchup, MF. I mean, how about this one? How does this one strike you? The Detroit Lions squaring off against the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Sean McDonough, John Gruden, Lisa Salter is on the call. Giants are 3-point favorites. And the series history, how about this, guys? We're even, 21-21, with one tie, a scoreless tie in Detroit back in 1943. But the last meeting was last year at the Meadowlands. The Giants won that one as well, 17-6. And the Lions have not won in New York since 2004, when they put up a 28-13 win over the Giants there. So let's see. The New York Giants offense showed no signs of life without Odell Beckham Jr. in a 19-3 loss to the Dallas Cowboys last Sunday night. But Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network noted that the star wideout should be back for Monday Night Football against the Detroit Lions in Week 2. That should spell trouble for the Lions, but the Giants' offense is built around one player, and that's been an issue for a few seasons. This game played out in December last year with the Giants winning 17-6. I mean, the G-Men defense is stellar, but there's something about Detroit, though. I mean, I liked what I saw from Detroit. I mean, Matthew Stafford had a huge game against Arizona. They surprised the hell out of me. I did not think they were going to beat Arizona, but they did. They picked up a 35-23 win over them. So I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions here. I like Detroit in this one. 17-10 is my final score. Give me Detroit in this one. So, MF, Monday Night Football. We got Detroit. We got the Giants. Your thoughts on this?
I'm with you, Anthony. I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions as well. I kind of feel like Matthew Stafford, he played to the level of that new contract that he just got, making him the richest, one of the richest contracts in NFL history. But, dude, he played really good. I got really nothing bad to say about it. I don't know what to think about as it relates to the rest of the team. I don't know what to think about or what to even see or expect when it comes to the Giants, because, like I said, it didn't look they did not look good at all in the last game. But how, we'll wait and see what happens. So, we'll wait and see. I'm gonna go with the Detroit Lions as well. So, Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Detroit Lions as well. Matthew Stafford, he certainly lived up to the contract, and yeah, the Giants, I think they'll hang around here, and I think the question is, will Odell Beckham Jr. play in this game? We're just gonna have to wait and see. So, nothing else for me to say. I got the Detroit Lions winning this one as well. So that being said, let's get to our first power ranking of the season.
The top 10 most impressive performances of Week 1 in our eyes. MF, we started off with you. Who came in as your 10th most impressive performance of Week 1?
Well, Anthony, let me just look briefly. Just give me one moment, because I just want to look at the scores one more time before I make my official decision. But I'll say this. A lot of teams really stood out to me this past week when it comes to top 10 performances. And you know what? I'm going to start it off with this one. My number 10, and I'm going to openly admit this, I was expecting a little something more from this team. I mean, they did good. I liked what I saw. But, normally when you get these type of performances, you never know what to expect. You know what? I'm going to go with my number 10, and I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. 21-18. Look, I get it. I think the reason why, because I'm giving them number 10, is because obviously other teams really stood out, really kicked the doors down, and really dominated in fashions that was so remarkable. But remember, when you're talking a top 10 list, you want to see some great performances. And I kind of feel like Pittsburgh was middle of the road. I mean, honestly, if they should have blown out the Cleveland Browns and they let them hang around and almost lost that game. So, I mean, I could easily say they don't deserve to be there. And you know what? I'm going to change it. My actual number 10, who should I go with? Who should I go with? All right, I'm going to change it. Pittsburgh out, Green Bay Packers in. They're my number 10. So Packers are number 10. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with the Green Bay Packers as my number 10 as well. I was going to put Pittsburgh in there as well, but thinking that because they had a tough battle with the Cleveland Browns, sorry, I just don't think they should be in there. Green Bay Packers are, to me, my number 10 team that really stood out to me from week one. So, nothing else to say. Florio, I give it to you.
I'll make it unanimous. Green Bay at number 10, 17-9 against Seattle. As I look at the results from week number one, Pittsburgh, I 100% agree. They don't deserve to be in the power rankings. I mean, if it had been a little more decisive against Cleveland, then most definitely they would have been in. But unfortunately, that was not the case. It just barely got by them. 17-9 was the final for Green Bay. The offense. I mean, the offense just didn't click, if I'm to be real honest with you. Slow start, but it caught on late. And but nonetheless, Green Bay picks up an impressive win against Seattle. So that's pretty much all I can say there. So give me Green Bay in that one. Let's move on to number 9. And when it comes to my number 9, looking on the schematics and the whole 9 yards. All right, just give me a minute. Now, the first ranking of the season obviously is going to be, without question, the toughest, but it will get easier as the weeks progress. But I definitely agree when it comes to who our number 10 is. I mean, definitely Green Bay. I 100% agree with that. So do I believe I have because there are, you know what? When it comes to my number 9, I'll tell you what. Top 5's no brainer. I'll say that for sure. Top 5's a no brainer. The rest of this is a chore. I think I have Buffalo at number 9. Am I right on this? Let me just double check and make sure the numbers. Make sure my numbers agree with that. Actually, no. Buffalo's an honorable mention. I wanted to put them in there, but you know what? We talked about Green Bay as a little bit of a disappointment. I'm going to give you another one. My number 9, the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, they only beat the Chicago Bears 23-17. That's a game they should have won a little more handily. But I liked their performance a little bit more than Pittsburgh. I mean, Matty Ice threw for over 300 yards. The defense for Atlanta really stepped up. I mean, 4 sacks of Mike Glennon, not Matt McGloin, MF. You referred to Matt McGloin earlier. Austin Hooper had 128 yards receiving. He was the star receiver for Atlanta. And The offense was what really saved them. I mean, Matty Ice still had a good game, but I really wanted to see a little more from them. But considering that Atlanta was in the Super Bowl, I mean, 4 sacks for that defense. I liked what I saw from them. Brian Poole had a sack for them. Vic Beasley had a sack for him as well. And, yeah, it was just barely, but I think Atlanta, what they did was worthy of a number 9 performance. So I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons as my number 9. I'm sure we're probably going to disagree with this, but it is what it is. We do have disagreements from time to time, but I got to say it's Atlanta. So, MF, who's your number 9?
No arguments here. My number 9 is the Atlanta Falcons. You absolutely hit this one spot on. No doubts about it. You're absolutely correct. I thought you were gonna go down Buffalo's road. I was about to call it a homer pick, but no. You definitely got this one right. Atlanta's number 9. Mike Bullock, it's yours.
I'm going to make it unanimous. Number 9 is the Atlanta Falcons for me as well. So nothing else to say except let's move on to number 8.
And I'm going to be very safe with this one. Oakland Raiders. The Raiders really played a good game. It was a little tight for most of the game. Then they finally were able to stretch it out in the fourth quarter and finally was able to put away the Tennessee Titans in their first game. It wasn't the most glamorous victories, and I'll openly admit that. And I really think that they definitely could have been better. And actually, I'm going to call a tie here because the other team that I think also is deserving of the spot at number 8 is the Minnesota Vikings. They had also a 10-point victory over the New Orleans Saints on Monday Night Football. And again, it was really, they kind of had a little bit, it was a slow first quarter, but they jumped out in the second, broke out to that 16-6 lead, and then was able to maintain that lead throughout the rest of the game. But it wasn't the most glamorous victories at all. However, Sam Bradford had a great game, had over, I believe, 300 yards passing with a few touchdowns. Stephon Diggs got 2 touchdowns. And again, with the Raiders, and in the case of the Raiders, it was basically status quo for them. They played really good throughout the game, so nothing more to say. Tie for number 8, the Raiders and the Vikings. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Oh man, I got a kick out of that. I was wondering we were gonna hear that horn sound there. So no, I totally agree with what Fletcher said. Number 8 is tied it for number 8 is the who is of course the Minnesota Vikings and the Oakland Raiders. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Like I said, Oakland Raiders and of course the Minnesota Vikings. Florio, it's yours.
Oh, how do you follow that? I mean, the flugelhorn of the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know what the exact name of that horn is, but I call it the flugelhorn of the Minnesota Vikings, which Randy Moss was on that on Monday night as he was honored as he went into the Vikings Ring of Honor. Well deserved. Say what you want about him, but it was a well deserved honor for number 84, and yeah, he did a great job on that thing. Let me tell you that. So man, I never thought MF would break out the flugelhorn, but he did. I mean, props to MF. I mean, kudos to him for that. So okay, I agree. There will be a tie here. It was basically a carbon copy performance on both sides. The Oakland Raiders and the Minnesota Vikings are both going to be my number 8 as well. I mean, I agree with everything you guys said. I mean, especially with what MF said. I mean, I got a very slow-moving, frozen moment here, so please bear with me. This is going to take a little bit, so yeah. Yeah, very, very slow on my end, but nonetheless, though, I mean, Oakland going into Tennessee, a 26-16 win. I should have gone with the Raiders. I should have listened to my gut instead of my heart. I mean, my gut told me to go with Oakland, but my heart told me to go with Tennessee, and Tennessee really let me down against the Raiders. And but Minnesota did not let me down. I had Minnesota. I was very confident in Minnesota going in to that game against New Orleans. I mean, I thought that defense was going to be the difference maker, and sure enough, it was. I mean, 29-19. Big win for them, no question about it. So, yeah, very pleased with the effort with Minnesota as they took it to the New Orleans Saints, 29-19. So pretty much carbon copies. So I can see where MF is coming from. So most definitely. We're even here. So, all right, we're going to move on now to number 7. And I'll say it right now. Buffalo Bills were my honorable mention. And I think that was pretty much my only honorable mention. I think I've pretty much ran down everything else. Of course, when it comes to duds, of course, the dud is the New England Patriots. Let's not kid ourselves. They were the big dud. Indianapolis Colts, another dud. I mean, unbelievably bad performance. So, all right, I'm going to put an end to this nonsense right here and now, this slow, frozen stuff here. I'm going to put an end to this right now. All right, we're going to get this out of here. Okay. All right, we should be good to go here now. So, let's get back into the fold here. We're on number 7 now. And, all right, that, let's see, who do I have at number 7? Oh, now this is where it's going to get a little dicey here, friends. I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. This is where it's going to get a little on the rankings here. So, all right. Okay. I think I'm set to go here. Buffalo, one honorable mention. Denver Broncos, another honorable mention. Yeah, I think Buffalo and Denver are my only honorable mentions here now that I think about it. So I already know who my number 1 is. I know who my number 2 is. The rest of it's a chore. So I'll figure it out the best I can. Number 7, I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles fly, 30-17 winners over the Washington Redskins. And, yeah, Carson Wentz looked great, over 300 yards passing, 2 scores in the win. And defense came up with a huge play late in the bout to pick up the win there. Graham, Eagles defense recording 4 sacks in the win and an interception and a couple of forced fumbles. So that definitely played into the role there without a question. So Philadelphia Eagles number 7. MF, what about you?
Fly, Eagles, fly. Philly, they got it. Number 7, no doubts. Mike Bullock is yours.
Gotta make it unanimous. Fly, Eagles, fly at number 7. So nothing else to say. Let's just move on to Fletch.
Number 6, and this one was it was a little tough. It was a little difficult, but I got to say it. Detroit Lions, holy cow, where did you boys come from? Slow start during the game. You know, it was 10-9 after halftime. Still close after 3. But the fourth quarter was when everything exploded for them, busting out a 20 spot, outscoring the Cardinals 20-6 in the fourth quarter. That gave them the 35-23 win. And like we said, Matthew Stafford got the richest contract in NFL history, and he played like he was worthy of the richest contract in NFL history. Dominating performance, unbelievable performance in my eyes. He had such a great game. Nothing more to say. Detroit Lions, number 6. Bullet, go.
Oh yeah, the Detroit Lions. They're my number 6 as well. So nothing else to say. Warrior, it's yours.
Make it unanimous again. The Detroit Lions. They come in at number 6. I mean, what a game indeed. Matthew Stafford, 4 touchdowns in the win, 292 yards. Golden Tate over 100 yards. Golladay with 2 scores. And defense only had 1 sack, but the defense, though, 3 interceptions, a couple of forced fumbles. No question about it. I agree with MF's reasoning here. 20-6 in the fourth quarter. So, yeah, absolutely right. The Detroit Lions coming in at number 6 with their 35-23 winner over Arizona. So, all right, let's move on. Now we go to the top 5, and this is where it's going to get dicey, very dicey. I'll say it like this: 1 and 2 are locked. No, I have no qualms about who I have at 1 and 2. All right. I have to look over the numbers just to be 100% sure. Well, 3, 4, and 5 are going to be. Actually, number 3 is my top 3 are good, but 4 and 5, this is where it's going to get dicey, real dicey.
There's no diciness on my end. I got the top 5 already locked. Like, I got it all.
Good for you. Good for you, MF. I mean, I'm not surprised to hear that. So, well, I know we're probably going to have some disagreements here, especially at number 1. The team I have at number 1, I think, fully deserves it. Much to, I'm sure it's going to be a disagreement, but we'll get to that in a minute. I just have to look over the numbers. No, I think this team should be number 4. So cracking the top 5. I don't know how you guys are going to feel about it, but this is how I feel about it when it comes to it. Number 5 for me, there's no doubt about it on my end. My number 5. Well, I'll tell you right now, it's between Carolina and the LA Rams. I'm going to be real honest with you. Carolina and the LA Rams are the 2 teams that I'm debating over. Pretty much even. Pretty much pans out even. Couple of picks, couple of fumbles. Actually, I think I might have to change my mind here after looking at the numbers. So, like I said, it's between Carolina and it's between LA. I'll tell you that right now.
Do you want me to take it if you're so indecisive?
Yeah, why not, MF?
Okay, I'll take it then. Actually, Anthony, you do have it right in one sense. I got Carolina. However, I also got the Dallas Cowboys. This is a tie at number 5. This is where I'm going to go. Carolina Panthers and Dallas Cowboys. They were both For Dallas, they were 19-3 winners. For Carolina, they were 23-3 winners over the Giants and the 49ers, respectively. They were both dominating performances, but the way I see it was that both teams ran out early in the game, got into nice little leads. Carolina jumped out to that 23-3 after 3 quarters. Dallas basically had a 16-3 after 3, and then they just added that extra field goal just as added insurance. But both teams were really good. They both dominated the scale of play. Now, I know the Giants they're going to kind of poo-poo over this because they didn't have Odell Beckham Jr. in that game. Understandable. The Niners are the Niners, so we can't really say that it was one way or another. It was just neither team really stood out. It was consistent. They dominated, a consistent flow throughout the entire game. For me, it's a tie. Carolina and Dallas is my number 5. Anthony, I totally disagree with you. If you were going to put the Rams here, you would have gotten me riled up on that one. The Rams deserve to be a lot more higher than where you were initially was going to try to put them. For me, my number 5 is Carolina and Dallas in a tie. Mike Bullock, I give it to you.
Bullock, are you with us? Oh, Jesus, I think we lost him. Oh.
Yeah, we lost him.
Yep, I think he slipped into the coma there.
All right. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm sure he had a long day. Okay. MF, you made it easier for me. There's not a tie here. Dallas Cowboys are my sole number 5. 19-3 winners over the Giants. Prescott, solid game. 268 yards through a TD. Elliott over 100 yards. Whitney with a touchdown. Beasley with that unbelievable catch off his nameplate. Unbelievable. Defense with 3 sacks, an interception, and a forced fumble. Lawrence had 2 sacks alone. Tapper had the other. Brown with the interception and Smith with the forced fumble. So, no question about it, MF. You got it absolutely right. The only difference is it's not a tie. So Dallas is my number 5. I agree 100%. So, like I said, my top two, maybe even my top 3 are good. But I just got to double check the numbers to support my claims. So, yeah. Okay, 6, 7, 8. I think you were one off when it comes to the number of sacks Jacksonville had. I believe they had 11, and that's definitely going to go a long way towards. Okay, yep. So I'm going to make a couple of indemnants here. Yeah. All right. So all right. So yeah, my number 1 is definitely intact now, as well as my number 2. Carolina definitely deserves to be where they are. I think I'm going to have them at number 4. I mean, MF pretty much had that. Okay, yep. And yep, I think I got this now. So I think I'm gonna go. Actually, I think I'm gonna go a little bit different here. I'm gonna be real honest. Going in, I was thinking about putting this team at number 1 because of what they did as a whole, but after looking at the numbers by all the other teams here, I might need to put this team where they are. So initially they were going to be number 1, but they're going to be my number 4. The Kansas City Chiefs. I was going to put them at number 1, but because of the fact that they went into New England and beat up on the Patriots. No. And I think this is where I might have to do the tie here. Yeah, I'm going to have a tie here at number 4. The Carolina Panthers and the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to be my number 4s. Carolina, let's look at what they did. They combined for 4.5 sacks, an interception and a forced fumble on defense. Newton, a couple of TD passes, and that was pretty much all she wrote. So Carolina with the 23-3 win over San Francisco. I had them just a smidgen higher than MF did, so I'm going to leave it at that. My other number 4 is Kansas City. I was going to put them at number 1, like I said, based on what they did, going into New England, beating the Patriots on their banner night. But no, the body of work, offensively, they were awesome. Alex Smith, 368 yards, 4 TDs. Kareem Hunt with that huge game. Of scrimmage and 3 scores. The defense, 3 sacks and a forced fumble. Houston had 2. So, but there were other bodies of work that I thought were a little more impressive. So my number 4s are the Carolina Panthers and the Kansas City Chiefs. So, MF, how do you feel about that?
Sorry, my mic was not. Whoa, Bullock's back.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah.
Would you guys have a number 5?
Yeah, number 5 and 4. Number 5 was the Dallas Cowboys. MF, I believe, had a tie with Carolina and Dallas. So who do you have?
Oh, you didn't do your number 4 yet, did you?
I just did my number 4.
And you said you had Kansas City, right?
Yeah, I said Kansas City. Well, I have a tie. I had Carolina and Kansas City for me.
Yeah, that's who I got. I got Dallas at number 5 and Carolina and Kansas City at number 4.
Fair enough. And so with that being said, MF, did you do your number 4?
I never got a chance to do my number 4 because Bullock came right back in. So,
What you got?
So my number 4, you know what? I'll do that the same way. I'll go with Kansas City as well. Definitely, I will not argue or fight that. So yeah, Kansas City is my number 4, which means we're in the top 3 now.
Yes, indeed. And I believe it's UMF who starts it off.
Yeah, it would be me. It would be me. My number 3. You know what? This is tough because I'm looking at either Jacksonville or the Rams at number 3 because they were such dominating performances. But you know what? I'm going to put it to the Rams. I'm going to give the Rams the number 3 spot because I kind of feel like offensively they were, oh my word, how awesome were they offensively on Sunday. They looked so darn good. They played absolutely out of their mind. It was one of the best performances I've ever seen from a team in week 1. I mean, they absolutely went after they literally went right after the Indianapolis Colts and they crushed them. They forced so many fumbles in that game. Let me see. They literally forced, let's see. How many fumbles did they force in this game? They got 2 INTs, 2 forced fumbles in the game. They got about 1, 2, 3 sacks in the game defensively. Then Jared Goff had 306 yards. Todd Gurley had 40 yards rushing. Brown had 16. Krupp had 76 yards receiving and a touchdown. Sammy Watkins, first game as a Ram, 5 for 58. Not bad. And they just dominated the whole night, whole afternoon. They deserve this one. For me, number 3, the Rams. Bullock, is yours.
And I agree. I'm gonna go with the LA Rams too. Yeah, a very good first win. I mean, blowout win over the Colts. I mean, yeah. So there's really nothing more to say. So, Florio, it is yours.
I'll make it unanimous. Los Angeles Rams, number 3, 46-9 beat down of the Colts. Defense recorded 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 2 forced fumbles. I mean, absolutely dominated. So, I mean, there's really nothing left to say here. The LA Rams are going to be number 3. Now, this is where it's going to get dicey here when it comes to the top 2. I'll tell you right now, in no particular order, it's between Baltimore and Jacksonville, as far as I'm concerned. It's very, very tough. I mean, I got to look at. Well, actually, no. You know what? I don't care what anybody says about it. I mean, I know Baltimore did one thing, but what Jacksonville did, I thought was a smidgen more impressive. If I'm going to be real honest, I mean, very tough to call, but nonetheless, this is very close. I mean, because to me, the 2 best performances of Week 1, hands down, the Baltimore Ravens and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, with what both teams did in their respective games, I mean, it's honestly very tough to put one over the other. But at the end, as I look at everything that went down, it's very close. But I mean, Jacksonville had 11 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and an interception. They set a franchise record, but you know what? I'm going to have to go with them. I got to go with Jacksonville at number 2. It's very difficult, but I got to go with Jacksonville at number 2. Even though they set a franchise record with 11 sacks and the 3 forced fumbles and the pick, I just think what Baltimore did was just a smidgen more impressive. Reason being, they pitched a shutout. Not just any shutout, a dominant shutout. And I'm going to give you the numbers to back that up in just a minute. But the Jags, I mean, nobody expected what they did to Houston. Emotional day for the people of Houston. I mean, J.J. Watt got that hero's welcome like we knew he would. And why not? When you raise $33.6 million for hurricane relief, I mean, of course you're going to get a standing ovation. So, but the Jags, man, they spoiled it and then some. I mean, 11 sacks for that defense. But I just thought the way Baltimore's defense went down, I mean, and if they had pitched the shutout, then it would have been Jacksonville. Then I would have given Jacksonville the benefit of the doubt, mainly because of the 11 sacks. But because of the fact that Baltimore pitched a shutout and Houston and Jacksonville did not, I got to put Jacksonville at number 2. So, MF, do you agree with that? Jacksonville Jaguars number 2? Did I get it right?
This is tough because, like you said, Anthony, when you look at the thing, it's so close, it's so tough. In one way, I'll say okay, and I'll give you Jacksonville, but you can definitely say that you can definitely make an argument that they deserve to be number 1 over Baltimore. I mean, if you look, it's just on INTs alone. Okay.
Well, we lost MF for a minute, and I do have to make a correction. It's 10 sacks for Jacksonville. I added it up. It was 10 sacks. MF had it right the first time. Calais Campbell had 4 of them. Campbell had 4 sacks. And Ngakoue had 2 sacks. McCray had 1.5. Fowler and Jackson 1 apiece, and then Jones had 0.5. So altogether, that's 10 sacks altogether. And then throw in 3 forced fumbles and an interception. And of course, the offensive side, Fournette 100 yards and a touchdown, Bortles a touchdown pass, but Baltimore was just a little better. Okay, we got MF back. So MF, you were correct. I did the math again. It was 10 sacks for Jacksonville, not 11.
Yeah, but the 10 sacks is definitely one thing. They had the forced fumble. They had a pick. They basically held a very good Houston team to 7 points. And I understand where you're coming from about Baltimore, because Baltimore had 4 sacks, a forced fumble. They shutted out the Bengals with 4 interceptions. So it's kind of where's your line? Where do you see it? You got to talk about offensively. I mean, 20 points, not that amazing. Flacco wasn't really that great. Where Bortles was a lot better. You know, the running game, okay, West had maybe almost 70 yards, but Leonard Fournette had 100 yards. Receiving core is almost a wash. So if you're going defense alone, I would give you Baltimore. No doubt about it. Offensively, though, I disagree. I go with Jacksonville as the better week for week 1. So this is so close. It's basically, in your mind, who is more impressive? I'm sorry, Anthony. I disagree with you. I got Baltimore number 2. Regardless of everything that I just brought to the table, I gotta go with the Baltimore Ravens at number 2. Even though you're absolutely right. In my mind, it's an apples to oranges. For this week alone, let's say we could agree to disagree. I think for you to say that Baltimore is number 1, you have no argument. You absolutely have every right to put them at number 1. Just like I have the right to put Jacksonville at number 1. We never have to agree on everything. But this time, I do not mind it. It's not a blatant, like, how could you do this? No, you had the backup facts. You had the right criteria. To me, you got every right to put Baltimore number 1, and I would not even argue with you. I would say, yo, amen to that, brother. Go with what you feel. If that's what you feel in your heart, that Baltimore is number 1 for you, then you do you. But for me, just for this week alone, just a slight disagreement, because like I said, it's an apples to oranges, 1A to 1B. I'm gonna give Jacksonville the number 1 spot. Baltimore is my number 2. Michael Bullock, it's all yours. It looks like we lost Bullock again. So Florio.
Alrighty. Yeah. My number 2 is Jacksonville. The 10 sacks, the three forced fumbles. I mean, both quarterbacks were shaky. Flacco and Bortles were both shaky. I mean, yeah, the running game. I mean, Fournette, that's probably why you got to give Jacksonville the advantage. But both offenses were shaky, honestly. But the fact of the matter is, I have to go with the Baltimore Ravens at number 1. It's the shutout, man. That sticks at me. The shutout. If Jacksonville had a shutout as well, then I would have given you Jacksonville. Absolutely. But it's Baltimore. It has to be Baltimore because of the fact that they had the five sacks to go with 5 turnovers, 4 interceptions, and a fumble. I mean, that's why I have to give the edge to Baltimore. It's mainly the shutout. The shutout sticks out at me, all honestly. So that's it. Baltimore Ravens are my number 1. and I don't care what anybody else, including MF, has to say about it. So, all right, Bullock. Jacksonville or Baltimore? Who you got?
Man, that's tough to decide. I mean, you know what? I'm going to put the Baltimore Ravens at number 2.
My number 1, call me surprised, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, just because of what they did defensively. I mean, 10 sacks. Whew. I don't think any of us expected Jacksonville to dominate the way they did. So I got Baltimore at number 2 and Jacksonville at number 1. So nothing else to say. Florio, I think it's time we wrap up this special edition of Strictly Sports NFL Friday.
Yes, this special Thursday edition of NFL Friday. Real quick, Michael Bullock, I'm going to leave this up to you. I know you're not a boxing guy, but do you want to join us tomorrow night for our preview of Triple G and Canelo Alvarez with Jimmy Alden?
Well, the thing is, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not into boxing. I'm only into the big ones. And like I joined you for the big Floyd Mayweather Conor McGregor fight. This one here is a totally different story, and I think I'll sit this one out.
Okay, that's fair enough. We got Jimmy Alden coming in anyway, so we're going to be in good hands. So, all right. So Bullock will next join us Monday night for Ridiculously Raw. So, all right. That will put the ball on this special Thursday edition of NFL Friday. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, coming up tomorrow night, usual time, 10:30. It'll be myself, MF, Michael Fletcher, and our special guest, Jimmy Alden. He'll be sitting in for Michael Bullock as we are going to preview the next big mega fight, Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, as he will square off against Canelo Alvarez at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. We'll run it down the same way we ran down the Mayweather-McGregor preview a couple weeks ago. So we'll do it like that. And then Monday night, of course, we got Ridiculously Raw. Bullock will be back with us for that. The go-home show for No Mercy. It'll be Alexa Bliss squaring off against Nia Jax. That will be interesting to see. And then whatever else they have in store for us. And then Tuesday night, and then, of course, I'll also have my Tony's Take. Not only am I going to give you my Tony's Take on 205 Live and Impact Wrestling, I'm also going to give you a brief thought on the Mae Young Classic. I definitely want to address that elephant in the room. So I'm going to do that on Monday night as well. And Tuesday night, we got the Cerebral Smack Talk with MF on his channel, Brace Fan 95. As we will go down to SmackDown Live. We'll see what he has in his Mikey's mindset. And then next Thursday night, we'll be back in our normal spot for College Football Thursday. Same with the NFL show on Friday. And then next weekend, we got No Mercy. We'll work out the details for that. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for our Strictly Sports special, Triple G and Canelo Alvarez with myself, MF, and Jimmy Alden. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. Anthony Florio here. For good old MF Michael Fletcher. For Michael Bullock. And in spirit, Didi Woodson and Derek Ferreira. For now, Anthony Florio. So long.